afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alyssa Quorum and Ed Carson here. And on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at Shopify as well as PayPal and Insulet. But first, we need to take a look at those major indexes. So this is a chart of the Nasdaq here, and we were able to finish in positive territory across the board. The Nasdaq leading the gains, closing up over 1%. And we did even have the Dow finish in a slightly higher territory today, Ed, by the end of the day.
Yeah, this is exactly what you like to see. Not every day is going to be a massive gain, though. A 1% gain is perfectly fine. It's very good, but it's just we started off down, and then the techs are leading, and everything improves and basically close at session highs. And you really can't ask for something better than that, especially where we started with some pretty significant losses on the Dow and S&P. Not too bad on the Nasdaq, as you can see, but nice action here.
Yeah, that's right. Climbing back above that 10-day line and still holding this green line, the 21-day exponential, still holding quite above that level, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and it's ever since we really followed through when the Nasdaq had its follow through day. The S&P had already followed through a couple of days later, but this one was the impressive one. Ever since then, the Nasdaq has been living above that line. That's just a healthy sign for any kind of rally when you can do that. And a lot of growth stocks bounced off of this line today. It was just a positive session.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, let's take a look at Shopify, and the ticker there is SHOP. Earnings are due Wednesday morning for Shopify. A strong day here, up almost 7%. Volume looks like it was a little lighter than normal, but average. But we do have it working on this shelf here, and it's seen some really nice gains since early April.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, yeah, as you said, it's at a closing high today. Technically, it exited a buy range, but that buy range was, I mean, depends on how you interpret it. It had run up so much, and it was so messy, sort of so messy after that you wanted to see some strength maybe after coming back like that. And so if you can get above this buy point, this new alternate entry above the old high, that would be a potential entry. But you probably want to wait until earnings, because this is, we're going to talk about companies that have earnings this week. But, yes, there's a lot of winners from earnings, but it could be pretty negative. This stock has run up a lot. There's a lot of reasons to like it. The relative strength line is at new highs. Businesses are going to e-commerce, and so you presume that they're having pretty strong demand, but you don't know how things are going to look when the actual results come and how the market will react.
Yeah, that's right. And just a reminder for everyone out there that when it comes to holding stocks into earnings, you want to make sure you have a decent cushion heading into the report. You definitely don't want to just be buying outright, entering a position right before the report. As Ed mentioned, wait for that report to come out. You can either play the breakout if that happens, or ahead of time go into it with our earnings option strategy. And Ken Shreve actually wrote about Shopify as one of the names he highlighted in his weekly earnings preview column at investors.com. So definitely make sure you check that out. And PayPal also has earnings this week on Wednesday night. Saw a gain of about 2.5% today, and that relative strength line, the blue line on the chart, which measures price performance versus the S&P 500, hitting a new high before the stock is hitting price highs. So that's pretty bullish.
That's pretty bullish, and you can see sort of the blue shaded area at the end of that relative strength line, and that refers to stocks that have hit a new high with the relative strength line while they're still in a base. Shopify, new high with the RS line, but it's sort of extended, at least from a traditional base. Right. PayPal snuck above last week's high. It is just below a buy point, but sometimes it does well. Like a couple of earnings reports ago, it had a really strong gain, but 2 of the last 3 earnings reports, it's had some pretty negative action. So again, if you want to play this ahead of time, you probably want to do it with an earnings option, or you can just wait for the breakout if it happens, because this is the clear leader in the payments field. There's a lot of things going right, but that's just going into it every time. You're just going to say it.
Yes.
It's a big bet is what you're doing. You're gambling if you buy ahead.
Definitely important to reiterate. And last but not least, rounding out our trio of stocks with compelling action with earnings due this week is Insulet, ticker PODD, P-O-D-D. And we've been talking about these diabetes plays mainly Dexcom, but that one, of course, is well extended. But Insulet here is setting up in this cup with handle heading into its earnings report on Thursday.
Yeah, Dexcom and Tandem Diabetes both had earnings last week. Both did, move pretty nicely last week. Insulet is forming this handle. You can see the 21-day line. It's holding above that. And the earnings are going to come Thursday night. It's fine that it's setting up like this. This is nice. At least it seems less likely to be trying to break out ahead of time. Keep your blood sugar a little lower on
Yeah.
this one because you don't want to get too excited about a stock. And yeah, there's always a question, do you want to buy the leader or not? Because Dexcom is already extended, doesn't really offer entry at this point, but Insulet has had some nice moves, heading into, Dexcom is extended. It's been doing great. If you're in it, that's wonderful. But, Insulet has been doing quite well. Its earnings have fallen in the last 2 quarters. And this quarter, it's supposed to just be break even. So, you'd say, well, that's not so great. And that's why its EPS rating is only 10. But after this quarter, it's expected to have really nice growth. There's some transitions, so you can see how strong the growth is supposed to be this year and next year. So that's what investors are betting on with Insulet.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see if management says anything interesting about those forward-looking estimates in the call. So we'll be waiting for that come Thursday. And that is it for today, everyone. But definitely make sure you check out IBD Live every morning, where the conversation will continue. Of course, it's been an interesting rally and a little bit of bumps in the road here lately. So for the latest market insights, make sure you're checking that out, investors.com/IBD Live. And we're also breaking down the action that we're seeing for top growth stocks that are setting up in what is shaping up to be yet another exciting earnings jam-packed week.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.